All right, now it's time to scan for some vulnerabilities. But before we do that, if you notice something as we're going through this process, as we're going through this um, procedures, step one, looking for life, right? Trying to find what is out there. Step two, looking for open ports. See what machines have available ports that are open to it. We're using the three-way TCP handshake or TCP handshake, sorry. You're being stealthy. You are then performing that step three, step four, you're performing a banner grab. Now at step five, we're scanning for vulnerabilities. You notice at no point did we initiate an attack, even though these are somewhat of attacks. We didn't initiate attack. We didn't break into anything. We didn't guess passwords. We didn't find something and exploit it. Everything here is scanning. So much of the effort that we're doing is scanning. Now, could there be vulnerabilities? Could there be exploits down the road? Oh, absolutely. But you see the amount of time that we're putting in just for scanning, and we're going by very, very fast. What if you're dealing with a couple hundred computers on a given network? This can take time. So these are scanning methodologies. We can write scripting languages, whether it be a shell script or a Python script to do this for us. This would take a lot of time. So, that automation process of maybe having Python do it in the night, maybe instead of doing these brute force and scanning all the computers all at once and hit it, maybe we scan them over time. Maybe we do one computer an hour over several days. This stuff is a methodology. At no point, though, have we broken into anything. This is all scanning. This is all gathering information. The next one is vulnerabilities. Now, I'm looking at the Nmap screen here, and they're talking about usages and examples. Search engine, Nmap scripting engine. As I keep saying, Nmap is an extremely powerful tool. It's just not a command line tool. It has its own scripting language, and people write scripts based upon known vulnerabilities, right? So we can scan these given devices looking for known vulnerabilities, or if we wanted to write our own scripts, potential vulnerabilities. Now, this is well beyond the scope. Script writing is well beyond the scope of this particular course. But just be aware that there are banks of scripts available built into Nmap as you scan the screen, built into Nmap that will look for known vulnerabilities. Somebody or somebody's built all these scripts. You can write your own scripts, right? Well beyond the scope of this course. Now, let me go back to my given machine. Let me clear the screen here a little bit. Should have did it before the started videoing. And let's be very aggressive with a vulnerability scan. We're only going to do this with 00.4. So I'm going to say nmap -a, basically being aggressively scan for vulnerabilities using whatever script you can find. Nmap, you are telling Nmap, use whatever script, all the scripts, whatever, and scan for vulnerabilities on this given machine, or the machine that we're targeting, -4. Extremely loud. This is going to be extremely loud throughout the network, but I'm just kind of showing you that brute force scanning for vulnerabilities. And you can see, well, it's still running. It's going to take some time because we're looking at scripts. Nmap is basically grabbing scripts and running those scripts onto that target machine. So it's going to take some time. Like I said, it's going to be extremely aggressive and extremely loud. And let's begin to take a look at what we found. Now we're going to scroll up here a little bit. A lot of information is being spit out. This top information up here, those were all those step 1, step 2, step 3, kind of in a nice little bundle here. You're saying, then why don't we just jump to this right away? we're learning a methodology, and the methodology is, first of all, find life. Why? I targeted one machine. If I tried to do this or did this with many machines on my network, I'm not being stealthy. I'm not being clever. It's problems are going to occur. So each step along the way improves our knowledge. So now we're at the knowledge of doing a vulnerability scan on one computer. So this is showing me the ports that are open. We discovered all the ports that are open for any completion scans, bounce backs, versions. Now we're getting into information that we could potentially use. Port 21, the TCP port, that's an FTP port, file transfer port. It is an anonymous FTP login allowed. In the old days of networking and Linux and Unix and stuff like that, it was a common practice to have machines that were basically file servers that you can connect using FTP and just grab the files down. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the standard practice was all you had to do was give them your email address. Here's my email address. I want to copy stuff down. Well, we still see FTP servers out there for whatever reason is logged on, but basically says an anonymous person can use the FTP on this given server. Standard practice many years ago, not a standard practice anymore. We're looking at some very, I don't know why my machine is so slow, some very interesting items here. Secure shell. Well, we would need to write this stuff down. There might be some, there might be some exploits associated with that. This vulnerability scan is probably going to tell us where some things are vulnerable. Now, just kind of FYI, telnet.td. Telnet was one of the early protocols, early applications that allowed us to connect into Unix machines through a modem and stuff like that. It's not commonly used anymore. That tends to be kind of a red flag for a lot of people. They see Telnet out there. If I'm not mistaken, Telnet used to use clear text, even though we were sending passwords and stuff like that. Some of the older Telnet would use clear text to send passwords. Probably not a good thing. Down here, we're getting particular information. Some more open ports going through, some version numbers associated with those open ports. A lot of pertinent information is being generated here. And again, we're information gathering, we're scanning. Now, let me show you, yes, right here. VNC, virtual network connection. Common tool used in a lot of troubleshooting, help desk, things like that. Virtual network connection is a valuable tool in network administrators' toolbox. It is what allows network administrators to basically remote control or remote access given machines. Now, the normal procedure is the help desk would reach out to the individual saying, oh, you're having problems with your computer, run this code, and would put the VNC in there. After they were done, after the help desk would be done working on the code, they would again run additional code to remove that VNC, because again, it's really more designed for those virtual connections or troubleshooting. I know some people do use it for other things, but vast majority is usually for some kind of troubleshooting thing. This machine, they didn't take it off. So to a hacker, to a bad individual, they see VNC, oh boy, that's a good sign. Now, if you think about it, if VNC is often used with the end user, we tell the end user to do this. A lot of times VNC passwords are very weak, password or something like that. So the bad actors in the world, they see a VNC, boy, they're happy people, because there's a lot of chance for bad things to happen there. And then we go through the rest of the stuff. We're looking at IPs. We're looking at open ports. We have this port open here. It looks like they're running some kind of Apache, some Apache code. This, I'm not an expert on this, but basically this is telling me that at one point this computer, they were testing some web-based services, right? and they were using port 8180. And maybe they're still using it as a test machine for internet. I mean, Apache is an internet server. Maybe they haven't used it in a while and just didn't turn it off. So a lot of particulars information is being displayed to us. A lot of these scripts are being displayed to us. Now, where is it? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. All right. This particular machine, this machine at this point, I will tell you what it is. It's called Metasploitable. It's actually Metasploitable 2. It is a machine designed to be exploited. It is a test machine. You never want to see a Metasploitable in the wild. It is used by individuals like us. If you watch my videos on building your own home network, it's an intentionally designed machine to be weak, right? So that's why there's all these problems here. A typical server, if a typical server had this many problems, you would fire your network administrator. This machine is designed for training. It's not a honeypot, different animal altogether, but it's designed for training. And there's a lot of exploits that you can potentially do on this. If you're interested in this, you go up to YouTube and there's literally thousands of videos about exploiting Metasploitable 2. So let's go through the steps one more time. Step 1, find life. Step 2, discover open ports. Step 3, try to be as quiet as possible. Try to be stealthy. Step 4, perform a banner search, meaning fingerprint the operating system if we can find particular information associated with that operating system. We're only at step 5, looking for vulnerabilities, right? And you can see this particular machine, lots of vulnerabilities, intentional vulnerabilities there. Now, real quickly, let's see if there's any vulnerabilities on 6. 6 still has me intrigued. So instead of 4, I'll say 6, make it verbose. A lot of stealth scans still not reporting anything of grand interest to me. Still not giving me IP addresses. I'm sorry, not giving me the operating system. It doesn't appear that there's any vulnerabilities associated with this given machine. This machine seems pretty hardened. It's not even a web server, so I don't see port 80 open. There's no ports. It's not really a server. This is probably a client machine. There's no ports open for it to be a server. So this machine is still interesting. All right. Machine 6. Machine 6 is the other Kali machine on my network. It's a client machine. It's a Kali machine. It's designed to be hardened. That's why we're not seeing anything on this. Whoever designed and implemented that Kali machine said, I need to secure this Kali machine. So that's what we're looking at. Let's go on to the next 2 videos. And definitely let's go on and learn something.